guys, Ryan from Ministry Tuning. Today we're going to be fitting the BMW MMI Pro Apple CarPlay. Come and show you the old system that we're going to update. Currently, our 2012 328 has the old style navigation. It doesn't have an internet connection, so we don't have live traffic on our nav. This will allow us to use things like Waze and Google Maps with live data, so much better. So we're going to do a little install today. There is instructions online. We're going to go with that and just see how we go. What could go wrong? So what we want to achieve today is getting rid of these flimsy holders and cables and everything hanging out on the front of our car that we've been using, so that we can use things like Google Maps and Waze for our navigation. We want to be able to put everything on our screen here, and also we want to retain the factory settings that we can still get to our menu, all of our media options, telephone, all of that, and use CarPlay. So we're going to remove the head unit, so we'll have to take off this fascia piece and this coloured trim, our wood grain trim. So these just pull out, but be very careful when pulling them because there's wires connected to this plug, obviously, and they can be a little bit fragile in this small end here. They can split in two, so just be very careful. You don't need a trim tool. It didn't sound careful, but it was. And then we'll unplug these connectors. Screws to pull out here. I'm just going to pull this head unit out. Well, it's probably got screws under here as well. Feels very solid. Maybe this trim comes off. Bingo. Just remove the other T20s from below. That's why it was so tight. Still screwed in. That's better. So this is just the fascia board for the IHKA air conditioning unit, and your pre-select favorites. Just unplug that. Then we'll take the actual head unit out, which is this guy here. Hello. In true BMW fashion, more T20s, which we love. Where's my electric drill?
This one.
Before we remove that, we'll just put a cloth down so we don't damage any of the console or the gear selector lever whilst we're unplugging it. We're just going to pull this out and then remove all these plug connections behind there. There's lots of them. Dig into that. So now we're going to remove the screen, which is another couple of T20 screws in here. We'll pop those out. Now you should be able to just wiggle the screen out very gently. Okay, and then unplug from the back. To give us a bit more room for the screen to come out, we'll just loosen off the LCDI cable from the back of the head unit, which is just a press button, which I currently can't see, but I know it's there. And wiggle that out. It's very hard with one hand. There we go. That just gives us a bit more room to pull this out and lean it forward. And unplug this end, same way. So now we've unplugged that screen. Be very careful of this display because they very easily get marks on them, and the only proper way to clean them, don't wipe them with the microfiber cloth. Only use, excuse the glove box, these clear wipes. It doesn't have to be that brand, but it has to be something that's made for a lens cleaner only. Otherwise you'll just mark it and you'll never get it off. Lens cleaner is the go. So now we've got it all pulled out. We've got our MMI prime connection interface, and we've just plugged it up as we know. So we've got the main power harness, antennas in, the AV USB port, which will have to run down one of the sides depending on which way you want to go, left or right hand drive, or where your phone holder is, because that will connect ultimately to your phone. And then the LCD out is this cable here, which is actually going to run up and replace this cable to our screen. So that'll be routed the same way, that way this one is in currently, and this cable will end up coming into our LCD in position. So we have our two-way splice in kit. There is no splicing of wires because of this harness that's been created by BMW. This will take the original plug from the head unit and plug it into this female plug here, and then this will replace that. Now you just have to be careful if your car has the green and black fiber optics most connections, so a couple of green and black tubes in here, make sure you swap them out from the original into the harness, the new harness, in this same spot that they came out of. So we'll start doing that now. So that's the main plug out there. We'll have to swap over the most. Mine has a fiber optics most port. You can see there, so it's in position 1 and 2. So the unsheathed green is in position 1, and the sheathed black and green is in position 2 for my car. Your car might be different. This is how mine's set up. So for the most port, to get it out, there's a little tab here you can push in to release. Like so. That just slots out. Now we want to put that in the same position on our repair harness. Just make sure that clicks in nice. That's basically all your communication for all of your infotainment, amplifiers, radio, navigation, all of that connects through a most loop, which is a fiber optic signal, which is a light signal. Now we can plug in the repair harness that we've just put the most port into back into the head unit. So now we're going to pull this LCD connector out of its position. That's the factory one. We actually have that going into the LCD in on the MMI Prime unit. Make sure you get a good connection on these because it's obviously your audio visual and they can be temperamental. So that now will plug into the original spot on the head unit, which is conveniently the same color. Then the new LCD out will route up through the same path to get to the LCD screen. Like so. So you also have our GPS aerial still plugged in, and your female USB connection, which we'll need to find a route down into the footwell area, either side you choose. So we'll route that now. Very hard to show you on camera, but I routed the USB cable down through here to hang out on this side. There is a hole there, it doesn't look like it is, but if you put your hand up under there and put your hand through the dash, you'll be able to meet yourself and then you'll find where you need to push it through. There's actually quite a little bit of room there, it's just very hard to see on camera, of course. So now we're simply going to plug the other section of the repair harness into the factory body harness of the car. So now it's about finding a position for our MMI Prime unit to fit. So I'm going to try and fit it down the right hand side here. There seems to be a bit of room there. There's some room on the left as well, but I'm going to stick it out to the right here. So it's just about finding a nice neat position where it's not going to rattle around as well. We can plug our screen up now. Nice and tight. And that just slots in. Just going to feed the aerial receiver for the GPS up onto the dash here. It has a sticky pad to be able to secure it to the dash. Just want it up and out of the way, but not high as possible. Stick that up to the roof of the dash, like so. And then it's about just putting it all back together. Now the wiring, of course, is plentiful, so you'll need to wiggle this box out of the way. We tuck it right over so we just see the cabling and a little bit of the body. That way we can get all of this harness in without crushing any wires very carefully, and we slide it back in. Settle the screen in. Put the two T20s back in. And from here, we basically just rebuild it. Best to feed these plug connectors through the trim first and then plug the hazard switch and lock switch in. Otherwise it's way too tight to get your hand in there. You might be able to, I cannot. Don't forget this guy at the top. I almost did. Got quite a bit of spring tension on that to get that trim in, so don't be afraid to give it a shove as long as they're all lined up nicely. Check all your gaps. Then you can plug your hazard lock switch in. Much easier if you get it the right way. Once you've reconnected your battery, turn the ignition on or start the car. And press and hold the menu button and enter the MMI Prime. So now, as you can see, we have full options for telephone, proper Google Maps, all of our messages, music, podcasts, even our calendars are on here. Waze, team chats if you like. I'm not sure that will work while you're driving. Spotify, WhatsApp, and a very handy Bimmerlink. So yeah, I've been using the system for a few weeks now and it's excellent. No real complaints. The audio is probably the only thing that I would say needs some improvement. Sometimes the person on the other end of the call can hear their voice coming through the car system, which is very annoying for them, not me. And you can still use your old systems. If you press and hold the 8 favorites button, it'll come back to your normal BMW system. So you still got all your options for your multimedia, radio, telephone, your old style nav, and all your vehicle information. So very handy. All in all, great system. Thanks for watching our install, guys. Make sure you hit like and subscribe so we can make more video content to show you different systems on BMWs, Minis and European cars. Thanks for watching.